Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. Just me, actually. Not we, just me. Pick'em is out this week, but you got me here. And even better, the stream is brought to you by CloudBet. You can actually watch the PFL this week, this Friday. I think this one's a Friday at like 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. You can actually watch it right there on CloudBet, which is great because if you are the type that likes to get some action down on the card, well, you can watch it right there as you do it. And if you're going to do that, use promo code 138MMA. That's 138 MMA. The reason you're going to do that is because that's going to get you a little something extra, a welcome benefits package up to $2,500, and an additional thing for using my promo code. However, the link you're going to want to use is in the description of this video, and that'll get you. It's also in the chat, all that good stuff, and that'll get you all the goodies that you need while doing so. Now, let's see. Oh, you're my friend. Let me tell you, there's not a whole lot to go on a couple of these fights, and that being one of them. But we're gonna do our best. I have some information on some of these guys. We'll do the best. What's up, Martin? Good to see you. Yeah, guys, we're gonna jump right into the first fight, and okay. So here's the deal. Right. So we're gonna, and pardon me, I'm gonna butcher these names. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be real bad at it. But kicking it off, we've got Maroon taking on Walid Gonani. Gonani, I think is how you say that. Okay. So this is tricky for me, right? Because I don't really know much about either of these guys. And I tried. I promise I tried. There isn't a lot you can find. And it makes sense. They're 0-0 fighters, right? There's a catch weight of 130 pounds. Seems like they kind of just threw this all together. Gonani comes from like a Sambo background, from my understanding. On the other side, you got Maroon. He comes from that KHK gym, which is, I mean, you've seen fighters out of there, so they're not bad, right? Like, at least they're like, you see some getting to the higher levels there, so that's something. But there isn't much to go off of. There really isn't. And I don't really have a good read on it, to be fair. I mean, yeah, it's kind of I'm kind of like, I don't recommend putting any money on it because why would you? I'm going to take like Gonani or whatever for the fact that he is an underdog. And I guess when you have no real information on the two, go with the guy getting you plus money, I guess. It does, in my notes here, it does say that he is a Sambo gold medalist at some point. So that's cool. He's more of a striking style Sambo competitor. So there's that. But yeah, that's literally the best I've got for that one. That's a really tough one. And what's even more tough is we're going on to an amateur bout next. So I promise we'll spend a little more time on the fights that you guys want to see, that you want to hear about. But a couple of these are just wild. Like, we've got an amateur fight next between Ahmed Al-Brahim and Mohammed Nabil, I think it is. There's nothing on this Nabil. And the fact that they have this actually listed with like odds is absurd to me. So that's crazy. Al-Brahim is minus 694 over on CloudBet, and you can get Nabil at plus 468. Okay, the reason this is crazy is because this is an amateur fight, right? So finding amateur fights on like a sports book is kind of wild. Unfortunately, it's hard to really get a good gauge on it, but just like looking at what I've found for information wise, there's nothing on Nabil. There's no, like, I haven't seen any of his fights. I couldn't find any. But it looks like the dude's just a bodybuilder. And that's like his thing. So based on that, I understand why he's a big underdog. Because I don't think he's like a fighter. Maybe he's more of a fighter than I think he is, but like, as far as I know, dude's just a bodybuilder that is like, yeah, I'll get in there and do it. Whereas the other guys like competed in various like grappling matches and stuff. He's got an amateur record that seems like an actual record, whereas I don't think there's anything on Nabil. So I guess I'll take Al-Brahim, but yeah, like It's an amateur fight on a PFL card, which is kind of crazy to say the least. But yeah, so first 2 fights out of the way, and those were the 2 that don't really have any information. Mind Freak, what's up, my friend? It's good to see you. It is good to see you. Guys, like I've already said, I've dropped my link in the chat. I'm gonna do it one more time. If you are trying to watch these fights and you don't really know where you can watch them on Cloudbet. They'll take care of you. I'm sure there's somewhere else to watch them, but just watch them on Cloudbet because you already know it's there. And if you want to get some action down, you can do it right there at the same time. It's always sick. Okay, so we're moving along quick on the first 2, but here we go. Now we can actually talk a little bit about these 2, a little bit at least about these. We got Abbas Khan taking on Ahmed El. It can't be Sissy, right? It's like Cece. I don't know. Cece, I think it is. Like I'm so bad at the names. When I watch the tape and stuff, I usually watch it in silence. I have the volume off. Usually because, trying not to disturb the wife while she's doing something else because she doesn't care to watch PFL MENA tape, believe it or not. So there's that. So yeah, we're going to talk about these 2 a little bit. Now, the way I see this one, right? It's mostly going to be, I feel like Khan's going to want to keep this at boxing range is what I'm thinking. Because that's where his background is in boxing. He trains out of that KHK gym. There's going to be a lot of those here for that gym is on a lot of the fights. And I think he's all right. Like he's not bad. 8-4 is a record. That's, not too bad. Right. But, we've only seen him once in the PFL, a couple of fights in Brave, nothing crazy there. It's always good. Both of these guys have only fought once in PFL. This CC, we're going to call him CC, right? So he seems to be more of a jiu-jitsu guy from what I'm gathering when I'm watching some of his fights, right? And he does seem to go to the ground and pound before submission. Like he'll take a submission if you give it to him, right? But I mean, like the guy looks to go for the ground and pound is from what I'm gathering here. When I'm watching his fights, that's what I'm seeing. I don't feel great about a pick here, but let's take a look at the odds, right? So the odds have it pretty close as well. We're getting Khan at plus 143 on Cloudbet and a minus 177 has come back on CC. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think the odds might be accurate on this because maybe or somewhere around there. I think the CC guys probably got the advantage because I think once he gets it to the mat, if he does, I think he's going to have a pretty decent advantage here. Whereas I think Khan is going to have a hard time keeping it on the feet. If he does, I think it'll be closer, right? I think it can be competitive on the feet, sort of. Khan's probably the better boxer, but I think as far as overall, it can probably be close. But at the same time, I think CC, once he gets it down to the ground, I think is going to have a lot of success. So I'm gonna go with CC in this one. Just styles kind of make fights, and I think that the fact that you've got a boxer versus a grappler, yeah, we'll give it to the grappler. I think you can get the boxer to the mat. That's kind of how I'm seeing it, right? But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking. If you guys are seeing something I'm not, or if you got questions or something, I'll do my best to answer them. So, let's be honest, guys. Some of these fighters, some of them are hard to see tape on. I've gotten as we get up the card, it gets a little easier. But yeah, some of the earlier ones, it is hard. Or you can watch the tape, but then their competition is just kind of, it is what it is. But yeah, that's where we're at on that. Let's move right along. This next one was kind of thrown together. I don't know when they added this fight, but it was recent, really recently, right? Didn't it? It was super recent. So, because I checked this out today is where I got this one. But yeah, so we have Malik Basail. We're going to say Basail taking on Mahmoud Atif. We're going to go Atif. Atef's taking this fight on super, super short notice. He's got 5 wins, 3 losses, so not an amazing record. He's a guy that kind of, it's pretty obvious to me that Atef was brought in because, well, we want to get this other guy, this undefeated 2-0 fighter that's, fighting out of Saudi Arabia, on the card in Saudi, I believe it's in Saudi Arabia. So that checks out, right? So they want this undefeated guy from the area on the card. And they're like, how can we do that? Well, let's bring in this guy because his original opponent fell out. Okay. His wins are, just kind of uninspiring. His only fight in PFL Africa, he lost in the first round, but it's not like a big deal, right? He lost to an 8-3 guy in his first showing, but now he's coming back against a guy that's only fought for the PFL essentially. And now he's a giant favorite. So you can't do anything with it because let's see, we got, odds right now for Basale are minus 2,381. So there's nothing you're doing with that. You're not doing anything with that. If you're doing something with that, you're asking for trouble. Dude could slip on a banana peel. Or you could see something where like he steps on some debris in the cage and all of a sudden the ref's like, you're out of here. Like they did, what's his face over in Europe. So you could see something like that. So at that number, you kind of just stay away, but I think he wins. It's, he's won all sorts of grappling, credentials. He's got some kickboxing credentials as well. Extensive amateur career. He's just 2-0 as a pro, but extensive amateur career. I think he probably wins against a guy that they brought in on super short notice to fill the spot. That's essentially what I'm saying, right? Okay, we are flying through the fights, guys. I need to slow down. I got to bridge the gap. We're going live again on the channel in 50 minutes, but we haven't gotten there yet, right? So feel free to drop your questions or comments about this PFL card. I realize a lot of people aren't watching this card this week. And I understand why, because you probably haven't heard of many of these guys if you're not, really tapped into the Middle Eastern North Africa scene, which is what MENA stands for, if you didn't know that. So I understand it. I get it. I see why, but like, we check these out. There's some stuff on these cards. You might be able to find some good value in, and this next fight actually should be super fun. This is probably the fight that I'm looking forward to the most. And it seems to be the most competitive fight, on the card from my understanding, at least from what I'm seeing. And I think the odds agree with me. So we've got Nauras, Abazka. We're going to go with that. Abazka. He's taking Islam Ysef. So Ysef 7-2, 14-6 for Abazka or Abzaka. We're gonna go Abzaka. We're gonna go with that. But you got that. But the odds are where this is interesting because we're seeing minus 132 on Abzka. We're gonna go with that now. And then Ysef is plus 108. So super close on the odds. Not a big discrepancy there. It's a good fight. This is a good fight because both of them have had some decent experience leading in. Like both guys have had a few fights in the PFL now. Ysef on the regional scene, actually, it's over a tomato can, but has a win via Von Flue choke, which I always like because that's one of my favorite moves. Shout out to Jason Von Flue for making that into a thing. But yeah, Ysef came in on short notice and just like absolutely shocked some people with like a super sick head kick. So that was pretty cool. That was his debut. And then he went on to win again. Not as impressive. It was a decision. It wasn't like a flying head kick, but yeah, still pretty cool. He's now 2-0 in the promotion. So that's cool. The other fella here, Abzaka, I think I keep changing how to pronounce that. If somebody knows how to pronounce that, type it phonetically in the chat for me because I am butchering this poor man's name. He's coming off back-to-back wins, look, fairly good in those as well. So, okay, so let's talk about the nuts and bolts here, right? Abska's probably going to be looking to get this on the ground is my guess. Use that grappling, try to pull Ysef to the mat, take away his nasty striking. But he has good grappling too, obviously. The dude got a Von Flue choke on somebody, and you can't be a complete idiot to know how to do that. So, but yeah, Abska, former champion over at UAE Warriors. That's a decent regional promotion, pretty good regional promotion, I'd say. Ysef 7-2, dude's been getting it done. basically what I'm saying is 6-fight winning streak for Ysef. Looks like he's getting some stuff together, and I'm going to take him to get this one done. He can get it done anyway. Submission, knockout, decision. He's shown that in his wins. I think he's finished 5 of his 7 wins. Yeah, 5 of the 7. So I think he can get it done. However, I won't be surprised at all if Absa, who I've just said his name yet again one more different time, I won't be surprised at all if he gets it done. But, you know, you look at the odds, like I said, and the odds are saying you're getting plus money on Ysef. You know what? I'm going to take it. I think Ysef's the side at plus money to get this one done and move on from there. So we are flying through. And the next fight, we're going to fly. We're just going to keep flying because let's be honest, that's what we're here for. We're not trying to spend all day. Fight number 6, featherweight matchup. This is in the tournament here. So that's, you know, I guess the other one was too, but you know, another tournament matchup here. 145 pounds. Familiar face for UFC fans. We have Giannis Gamori, and he's taking on Islam Reda. Reda? We're going to go Reda. Both of these guys have good records, although Gamori went 0-2 in the UFC. 13-3 for Gamori, 14-1 for Reda. I'm going to call him Islam. I can get that right. Islam and Gamori. So a couple of things that I like to point out. Okay. The kickboxing of Gamori is actually good, right? He's got good striking. It didn't look like it when he fought Peyton Talbot, but yeah, you know, Peyton Talbot's a guy that in the UFC has 1 loss and he's looked pretty darn good. No shame in that loss. Talbot could get a win this Saturday over a former Olympic wrestling champion in Cejudo, a 2-division UFC champion. So, I mean, if he does that, I mean, the loss there doesn't look too bad, right? But either way, Gamori's got good striking. The other gentleman in this one, Islam, more of a jiu-jitsu guy. Like he's got like a lot of credentials in like the Egyptian national championships for jiu-jitsu. He's got like 8 wins by submission on his current resume. I'm just checking my notes here right quick. But yeah, so like he's going to want to get this fight to the mat, which is cool because if he does, I mean, I think he can do well. It's not like Gamori's looked great on the mat in the past. So, you know, if this Islam fella can get it to the mat, I think he does well. The problem is, I think on the feet, Gamori is going to completely outclass him. And that is interesting considering, like I said, Gamori's got good striking. So do I think Gamori finishes this? I think Gamori wins. And he's the underdog. Interesting. Cloudbet's got plus 109 on Gamori. I think Gamori's going to keep this on the feet and outstrike him. I think his striking's pretty good. I think he's getting underrated because of his UFC run. Yeah, I'm going to take Gamori. I don't know if he finishes or not, but I'm going to lean Gamori. Maybe I'm tripping here, but I think his striking's good and I think he can keep this on the feet. I think that's what we're going to get. So, we're taking Gamori. We've got like what, 2 fights left? My goodness. One of them's a massive favorite, so okay. Well, moving right along. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving right along. The next fight is Salah Adin Hamley. We're going to go Hamley. So Samal Adin Hamley taking on Muhammad Fami. Okay, so both of these guys are undefeated, right? We got 10-0 versus 6-0. Good on paper matchup. Really good matchup on paper. Like if you just look at records, which, you know, like they always say, records are for DJs, right? If you look at just based on the records, great matchup. For Hamley, multiple time amateur boxing champion, you know, 10-0 obviously is a pro. He did have 1 loss on his amateur record from my recollection. He's going against someone who is a judo and jiu-jitsu player, right? That's his go-to. So, and coming out of Iraq, you know, I don't know how Iraq is, like, I don't know if they're known for like judo or anything or jiu-jitsu. I don't think so, but either way, he's got some accolades there, nationally. Won some medals, all that good stuff. So the background is there, right? When we look at the recent fights, both guys undefeated in the PFL, right? Both guys obviously undefeated on their record. Who's got the better wins? I don't know. I really don't know. That's a tough one. I'm going to say, gosh, Fami's wins might be better in the PFL. Might be. But we're not looking at who's got the better wins. That's not how we're deciding who's going to win this fight. We're deciding who's going to win this fight based on how we think this fight's going to play out. And how I think this fight is going to play out is I believe it to be true. Hamley's going to be the better striker. I think at range, I think he's going to have more success. I think Fami's going to want to try to get this to the mat. If he does get this to the mat, yeah, dude's pretty good, right? He's really good. But I do think that Hamley is going to be good enough to survive if it hits the mat. So I think we probably get an over. What's the over set at? So we're at 1.5 rounds. I think we're going to hit -171. Okay, I like that. I like the over in this one. I do think we're going to get over, especially with 2 undefeated guys. Neither guy wants to lose their undefeated record. You know what I mean? So probably fight a little cautious. Hamley's a big favorite, which surprises me with both guys being big favorites. But Martin earlier was asking about this one. Martin, I think I'm on the same side as you, my friend. I think so. I think we're going to go with Hamley here or Salah Adin. I think we're going to take him. I think he's going to get it done. I think he's going to be the better striker. And I think he's good enough in the grappling to keep it up. So that's the take. We're going to go with that one. I'm going to try and build you guys a parlay at the end here, but it's going to be tricky because, well, A, there's not very many fights, and B, there's not a lot I'd like to parlay on this. But we're going to do our darndest. So stick around if you want to do the parlay. And if you want to do the parlay, make sure that the link right there on the screen in the chat, that's to get you to cloud bet. The reason you want to do that is best odds for PFL, best odds in the game, right? But the real reason is because when you're watching the fights live, where are you going to watch them? You're going to watch them on Cloudbet. You can watch them right there. You got your action right here on the side on the screen. You got your stuff showing up right here. You're watching the fights. Oh, this guy's winning. Quickly, I need to place a bet right there. Dude, you can do it right there on the same site right there. You don't have to do anything. So real simple, real easy. It's honestly the best way to do it by a lot. But yeah, so that's the way I see it. Best place to watch them, Cloudbet. Let's move on. We've got what? One more fight. Here we go. Main event, which is real interesting because we're all familiar with Muhammad Al-Akra and how he got kind of beat up pretty bad in the finals last year, right? But since then, dude's looked okay. Got himself some wins back. That side kick to the knee is that's nasty work right there. So that was interesting. Yeah. And he's going up against Badreddine Donnie, whatever. I'm so freaking bad at these names. My gosh, guys, I apologize. I need to. Usually when I don't do the live stream, like before I like record my recorded, like edited videos, minimally edited, but edited, I'll sit there and I'll try to pronounce the name with like the help of like one of those like apps or whatever that tells you. And I'll try to do it a few times before I record. I can't do that on the live streams. And then I'll forget by the time I get to the name how to pronounce them. Because like I said, I usually end up watching these PFL cards with the sound off. Whatever. Either way. Point is, what I'm saying is, yeah, I'm going to butcher some names. But I remember Al-Akra because I did watch the finals last year with volume on for some reason. So that was cool. Anyway, let's talk about it. So this one's a pretty good matchup. I mean, 9-1 versus 10-3. You like to see that. Al-Akra famously trains with Habib and his boys, but only kinda, right? I mean, like, he's not like part of the inner circle type of thing, but I think he more trains with Javier Mendez and less with Habib and them, but that's just me. He's got his judo black belt, good at jiu-jitsu, all that good stuff. But yeah, he just wants to take you down and lay on you mostly. Except for that side kick to the knee. That's dirty stuff. Like, that's good. I like to see that. That's something. if you start implementing side kicks to the knee on your opponents on a regular basis, you're going to have some success, right? It's a good move. Makes people not want to come forward whatsoever. It's something we saw Joshua Van do against Royval when Royval's pressure was starting to get to him. He just side kicked him in the knee. So I like that. This Diane, we're gonna call him Diane. I'm screwing this up. He's got a Sambo background. You know, former welterweight champion over for UAE Warriors. It's always good to see, right? UAE Warriors, good promotion. Yeah. He never got to compete in the finals last year. I think he was like injured or something. I think it was. And I think that's what happened there. But either way, man, the odds are making me think that maybe it's worth taking a shot on this Diane guy, but I also think Alakra wins. But let's talk about the odds. So Cloudbet's got you covered minus 1250 on Alakra, plus 719 on Diane. Yeah. That plus 719 makes it seem appealing because I don't think Alakra's all that good, but I think he probably wins this. So I'll take Alakra. I will. I'm going to do that. I think he probably wins a decision. But, like, you know, I don't think he's just going to sidekick him in the knee and take it out like he did before. But over 2.5 rounds, minus 173. I would rather play that than Alakra, to be honest, actually. Definitely would rather play that than Alakra. What? Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Alakra to get it done. Okay. Chat, here's what you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for the parlay. That's what you guys all come here for, right? Parlays. Let's do it. Let's try and figure one out because we're going to try to get the plus 100, okay? Let's see. What do we think we get on a parlay here? Well, if you guys got suggestions, drop them in the chat. I'm gonna keep on trying to figure out what I think here. Man, there's something to keep in mind. I think all these finals fights are 5-rounders. So that's something to keep in mind because a lot of these are like tournament finals, right? Like if because there's what, eight fights on the card, and we've got 4 of them, I think, are finals fights. The other 4 are just kind of thrown together. One of them's an amateur fight, so there's that. But yeah, we got 4 of them that are 5-minute rounds. So that changes things quite a bit. Okay, parlay time. I think what we're going to do, we're going to start it off with the over 2.5 rounds in the main event at minus 173. That's going to get us started. Okay. So we're at minus 173 right now. We need something to put with that. And I don't feel good about a lot of it. I don't feel good about a lot of it. I really don't. What if I'm thinking another over somewhere, especially in a 5-rounder. I can see a lot of these guys starting a little slow, right? Do we go? I think we just go over in the co-main. We go over in the co-main and over in the main because the co-main's only over 1.5, and that's 171. Yeah, that gets us to plus 150. Let's do it. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go. Oh, boy. How do I? Okay, let's type this in. I got to try and spell these things for the chat. Let's use a little copy and paste magic. How about that? Okay. Do that. Okay, so we're doing over 2.5 plus Hamley and over 1.5 equals plus 150 on cloud bet. Let's go. All right, there we go. We got our first parlay. We're going to do the silly parlay next, the one that you guys really enjoy, because nobody likes to make the not like easy money, but like the less crazy money. The plus 150 is cool, but we want big money, right? We want to go crazy. So I think we keep those two things in there. Okay, so we're gonna keep those two in there. Then we're gonna add something cool. I think we're on 2 underdogs, so we got to add at least one of those. Probably both. Let's add Gamori for sure. Money's just come in on Gamori. He's still an underdog, but he's minus 101, so it's not as good. But we'll still add him. I guess that's a plus 398 with just that. But we're going for more. We're going for more. And then the other one we're gonna do. I think we take Ysef at plus 104. Yeah, I think we take Ysef at plus 104. Islam Ysef plus 104. And that gets us to plus 915. And I think that's a darn good play. Okay. As far as getting crazy, I don't think it's a safe play. Don't be silly. I think it's a fun play. And I think that's what we're here for, right? We're here for fun plays. Let's see. Add Gamori. And what's up, Nate? Good to see you in the chat. I'll highlight your comment here in just a second. I got to do a little copy and paste magic, right? Ysef, there he is. Probably could have spelled Ysef, actually. Equals, what was I, plus 915, I think I said? Yes, plus 915. And cloud bet. There you go. So if you add Gamori and Ysef, you get plus 915 on cloud bet. Nate says he hasn't looked into PFL this week at all. Honestly, I didn't until today because I wasn't confident that the card was going to stay together, and I was right. They've had a couple of changes like last minute. So with these PFL MENA cards, I have learned my lesson, and I just stopped looking at the cards until the day of, right? Because we had 2 fights that have fallen apart, right? That's how Basale or whatever got a new opponent on super short notice. And there was one other fight at atomweight, I believe it was, that got pulled. And thankfully, I didn't look into that one at all. So that's cool. But yeah, so we had, we had some fights get pulled. I don't remember when, but it was pretty recently because when I look at the card like a week or so ago, that's how it was. Something I find interesting. I actually just pulled up the Tapology votes and the Maroon and a Gonani fight. Gonani is the plus 158 underdog on cloud bet. But if you look at Tapology, he's picked by 79% of people. So that's weird. Usually you don't see that big of a, you don't usually see an okay sized underdog and then being picked by, darn near 80% of the population. So that's pretty wild. Let's see. Did I pick with everybody? I've differed from the Tapology votes on the Ysef pick by a pretty big amount. So that's wild. And on the Gamori one by a big amount. I think a lot of people are fading Gamori just because they saw him get beat up in the UFC, but I don't think that's going to be, I don't think that's a good gauge for how to be successful at betting on the PFL MENA specifically, right? So for me, I think Gamori's got a shot here. I think he's got a good shot. I'm dropping the link for Cloud Bet one more time in there. Guys, we've got 8 fights coming up on Friday. It's gonna be good. Also, something else I want to throw at you. I don't know if you guys know, my boy Corey Willis is fighting for bare knuckle on Friday. That's tomorrow. Shoot. He's fighting for bare knuckle tomorrow. This is a PFL stream. I'm gonna give you a little bare knuckle as well, right? Here's the deal. Where did I find that? It's BKFC. Yep, there we go. Corey Willis. Last I saw, Oh my gosh, he's a giant underdog. Cloudbet doesn't have odds on this. They're great. They don't have BKFC odds. The books I'm seeing though have my boy Corey Willis as a plus 1,200 underdog. And Corey's a dog, dude. Like at plus 1,200, I'm throwing at least $10 on him. You know what I mean? So that's just a little bonus for you guys. BKFC, Corey Willis is. Also, I'm biased, so don't take that as like legit advice. Like I know him personally. I wouldn't call us like close friends, but we're friendly acquaintances. Let's put it that way. He's a good dude. So yeah. Either way. So Corey Willis is a big time underdog if you want to take a bet on something wild. I've had buddies on BKFC cash as massive underdogs in the past. Oh, I just blitzed out there. But we're back. Let's see. Nate says, just because someone can't win in the UFC doesn't mean they can't win in the regional scene. Look at Shin. Exactly, dude. Exactly. The UFC is a different level. And losing in the UFC does not mean you're going to lose in the PFL. That definitely does not. And Gamori, like, he's got good kickboxing. I stand by that. I think he's got pretty good kickboxing. I don't think he's a great fighter. I think he's got good kickboxing, though. I think he can do all right here. Because, like, when you look at his UFC run, he lost to William Gomi and Peyton Talbot. And people are acting like he's terrible. Jordan right here says that, too. He says he's terrible. He could get blanketed. He could. But, like, I haven't seen enough to believe that he's going to get blanketed here. He might. He absolutely might. I'm not saying he can't. But, like, a loss to William Gomi and Peyton Talbot does not tell me that he's bad. Like, it tells me that's hard matchups. And he doesn't have, like, hardly any good wins outside the UFC. Actually, I take that back. A couple of them that are okay, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll take a shot on the kickboxer here. I think I like him enough in this one to take a shot on the guy that's going to try to keep it on the feet, try to strike. I don't know that it's going to go well. If he does get taken down, he's probably toast. But honestly, like, do you think this Islam Rita guy can beat Peyton Talbot or William Gomi? Nah, he gets knocked out by both of them. Same thing as Giannis Gamori did. So that's my thought. But either way, that's where I'm at. You guys can let me know in the chat. I'm going to wrap it up here in a second. I got to get ready for the next live stream. So I do want to thank you guys for tuning in. And I also want to thank Cloudbet. Also, Cloudbet sent me this sick shirt, right? Because I partnered with Karate Combat. I was just wearing this. Like, I didn't wear this specifically for the stream. I was just wearing it. And then I was like, what a coincidence. They're nice shirts, right? Sent me some sick stuff. So shout out to Cloudbet. Doing it right. Helping your boy, helping all the people out. And you can watch the PFL there. I'm telling you guys, it's the best place to watch the PFL. Why look around for all these other places to watch it? You're like, where the heck am I supposed to watch this? Nobody ever knows. Right there. You can watch it right on Cloudbet. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am signing off for now. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys back at the top of the hour for the next stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate all of you that made the time to come in. One last time, I'm going to flash the parlays up on the screen. We got that one, and then you're going to add to it. You're going to go here for the ridiculous parlay. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you all down the road. See you in 20 minutes.